Alright, we've got a couple boxes here, one small one. Let's just get this open. I don't even remember. Oh yeah, that. Let's see. If we take the receipt out, we can take a look at. I think maybe both of those actually arrived today already. In this bigger box here, of course. Yeah, it seems to be opening from there. It's kind of heavy, so I'm not trying to pick it up and open it at the same time. Figure we'll just open it and dig all the anime out. Makes this week a pretty big update. But before we go on with the anime, I've got some non-anime stuff. I bought this 4-movie Midnight Marathon pack for Aliens. Obviously, I already have the thing. Didn't have They Live, which I wanted. Village of the Damned, which I think was a good acquisition. Virus, well, I guess I watched it, and I guess I kind of like it better than Batman vs. Superman. The Untouchables. Let's see, I got Good Will Hunting. My Cousin Vinny. And then I got Hotel Transylvania 1 and 2, because I had heard that they're maybe better than most people would assume. I might have comments later, since I did watch the first one. But for now, we've got Strike the Blood, original TV series. This is a Discotek release, audio. Does that say English? I think that says English. No, Japanese and Japanese. So Japanese with English subtitles. I see a region A symbol there, so this is overwhelming vampire power. I guess this means Discotek is moving up slightly, because the name sounds familiar, which makes me think that it's a newer title that we have seen, that I have seen, that maybe got seen by a good amount of people, that's somewhat popular. I thought this could have been something like Funimation might have released, but obviously it's Discotek Eastern Star Film. I don't know. I'm not seeing Funimation unless I don't think that's Funimation's symbol. Is that Crunchyroll? Interesting. Either way you slice it, it's an interesting release. Let's see, we've got Disc 1, Blu-ray, episodes 1 through 12. 2, episodes 13 through 24. Then you got DVD 1, 2, 3. Oh, and 4. Sorry. Hair's partially covering an eye and camera, so it's weird. So that's an interesting, different release. Unexpected. This one, though, looks very Funimation. Sky Wizards Academy. This one is, I think that's Region A, obviously. That's English and Japanese, so this one is dubbed. From Zeros to Sky Heroes. That is obviously a similar-ish. Then, on the inside, I'm seeing some artwork in the background. Don't know anything about these characters. DVD 1, the faint image. DVD 2, another faint image. Blu-ray 1. Blu-ray 2. Closer. There we go. Interesting. Let's see. We got Non Biore Repeat, which makes me think There might be a Blu-ray version in this pile somewhere. I'm not seeing any. I'll have to double check if there's Blu-ray version. Because, I thought Non Non Biyori had a Blu-ray release. Come on. It's being really stubborn plastic. Alright, all 12 episodes on 3 discs. And I'll have to double check other Non Non Biyori stuff. Next up we've got something called Overlord, the complete series. Which looks like it's anime. Show him who's the final boss. Not sure what to make of all this stuff. This anime is kind of tricky to judge on its own just by looking. I know it kind of looks like it maybe could have been non-anime. I mean, this looks like an art piece, but in the world? That's a good what in the world. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I'm not sure what kind of anime this is at all. That's a DVD, that's a DVD. Those are definitely anime characters. I mean, I was pretty sure, but 2 Blu-rays. It's some sort of person in some sort of armor. Is that... Oh, a former person in some former armor. Let's see, we have this, which tells us it's Region A, English dubbed. And then I guess it came with limited edition art cards of some sort. Probably means poster cards. I guess it's opened up. A lot of this artwork we've seen all over the DVD. That one's a little more tricky to process what everything is. Interesting. Let's see, and then I guess as per my usual, it's just because I can put that in there, I will. Next up we have Mori Uemari? Okay, that's actually an N, no an R. Mori Himari? And I was kind of noticing this case is seeing a little action. Which as long as the DVDs themselves are okay, I guess I'm okay with that. Although I haven't seen Case this broken in so long. She's not wearing much in the way of clothing. I'm gonna hold on to this while I peek. She's still not wearing much in the way of clothing. Okay. Come on, plastic. I need to figure out what to do with the plastic later. Next up we have 07 Ghost. This looks more like a discotheque pickup. The name sounds familiar, and maybe it's a little more. His only memory is a dream of blood. Well, that's kind of curious. joystick is being annoying. The complete TV series collection. Too bad all this interesting stuff comes in, and I guess I just can't keep up with any of it. Oh, look. Actual different artwork per disc. I think that's not very usual for Discotek. Or maybe I'm thinking of some of their older releases, I guess. That's possible. Next up we have Karate Master. Complete TV series. This is another Discotek release, and I think it's Japanese, but worst case it's not. I've got more stuff than I need. That's not too bad of a case. Alright. What the hell? It's sticking down here like there's still somehow some of that remaining. How annoying. Yeah, I can kind of feel it. As you can see, this is kind of more what I expect, you know, Discotek to have simpler images on all their discs. Maybe 007 Ghost is special in some way. Shining Tears X Wind. Jesus, another Discotek. A lot of their stuff came out this week. Most of this week is them. That's pretty unusual. I guess it's kind of nice because it means they usually tend to be mopping up series that other, oh damn it, I threw it away, that other companies don't pick up, which means it would be nice if they picked up, say, Cheeky Angel. That's something I've been wishing would come out on DVD. Don't know what to make of this. Based on popular Shining video game series from Sega. Usually means it's not that great of an adaptation, you know. Very few are, I guess. It's got that reputation, but you never know. We've got the Heroic Legend of Arslan. This should be season part 2. Regions A and B, and of course English dubbed. DVDs 1 and 2, Blu-rays 1 and 2, imagery on the inside, simple enough. Next up we've got Hetalia the World Twinkle. When I was reading that while opening that, it looked like it said the World Tinkle. I'm like, wait, what? More sparkle, more squee, Hetalia Twinkle. This will be season 6. I think this is about what we expected. The episodes are smaller, simpler. But there's Hetalia. Doesn't feel like there's anything else. Fine. Do it this way. One Piece Season 8 Voyage 4. lot of DVDs this time. Let's see, this starts at 493, which means 492. Episode 492 is skipped, because that's a Toriko One Piece crossover side episode. We've got this one disc 2 labeled. We've got a 2 and a 1, which is about what we expect. One Piece is One Piece. Next up, we've got a Sword of the Stranger. This is, I already obviously have it. I don't think I had it on Blu-ray before. If I'm mistaken, then oh well. But this was definitely a Blu-ray release. And a DVD release, so I got both. And then last but not least, Arpeggio of Blue Steel, which I think is another name I've heard. And this is, of course, another Discotek release. Region AM scene. So it's a Discotek Blu-ray DVD release, right? Because it says a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. This complete TV series. So let's get this opened. What is that? I guess before I toss this away mindlessly, I should take this sticker off. Get this out of the way and take a peek. We've got DVD 1, DVD 2. This one says it's a 3, but let's see. Trying to find, because this one's a DVD, this one's a DVD, and this one's a Blu-ray. So I would kind of expect things to be divided up 50-50. I guess running time. How many episodes are we talking about? Video, audio, subtitles. 12 episodes on 1 Blu-ray and 2 DVDs. Okay, that's how it's being divided up. Alright, that's this week's anime DVD collection update. So, I'm a couple more episodes into A Good Librarian Like a Good Shepherd, and I'm kind of on the verge of wanting to drop it. I mean, it's kind of slowed down anime watching this past week because it's been the next thing and I just kind of don't feel like watching more of it. It's kind of pretty mediocre for the most part. The real problem is that I just watched episode 7, and on top of being kind of iffy in terms of having my attention, it decided to jump into completely pretentious land, where basically the idea is these people called this Good Shepherd concept is about trying to sway, I guess, people's lives. And you know, it was already kind of one of those, oh well, everybody the main characters know are the most important people in the world. It kind of overinflates these people, like it just can't come up with a real, I don't know, mature or reasonable or plausible concept. It's like this one person, they're like, oh well, we have to do something to help this person because the future prediction stuff says she's going to hurt her hand, and because of that she's not going to write some piece of software that's going to change the world. And she as a character doesn't really strike me as somebody who would do that. Like, it's not just, I don't know, this is a general problem with just shows, American, Japanese, whatever in general, and computer smart people, where it's just like, oh well, it's just kind of magical. There's no real science to it, and it means they can kind of overinflate the value or importance of a character, which is what they did here. And that's not the real problem, but it's kind of been going down troublesome routes, sort of like that. And the thing that really bugged me is there was this one person that was destined to become a great artist, but instead, because he encounters a certain character, he will obsess over that character, and even though he won't become a stalker or anything like that, instead he devotes his energy towards making the world's best love doll, which apparently is successful. And there's a part of me thinking, okay, now you can't just say he's going to be a really good artist. How dumb do you think we, the audience, are? Well, some people probably agree with that, but there's something to be said about people who work on stuff that's even of a pornographic nature, of being good artists sometimes. I mean, it's pretentious because it is claiming to value, oh yeah, he's going to make art, and just keeping it very generic and not like, oh, he's going to invent a new style of painting that will be an inspiration for many people. You know, something like that would make a lot more sense and be much more meaningful than what the anime did give us, which is that, oh no, he'll be good at art, but instead his art will be pornographic in nature, and so that is bad somehow. And I don't know. It really pissed me off. Just because of how pretentious it's being. It comes from this mixture of pseudo-intellectualism, super happy with little reason regard, I guess. I don't know. A lot of it maybe boils down to it's been a mediocre show, and it's kind of curious, but it's balancing that out in the wrong way with things that I wouldn't really call that philosophically deeply thought out, or even shallowly thought out, as I would say. So instead, I decided to watch a Snow White with the Red Hair, and this has been actually a lot better, which is kind of funny because I'll see two characters just interacting. I'm like, a part of me is thinking, why is that show having so much trouble having characters interact? It's not like they're talking about anything super new, and it doesn't. I mean, there's this possibility that because they're talking in that way, you kind of understand their thought processes, you appreciate their thought processes. And it's kind of interesting because, you know, like a good librarian is trying to be good thought processes, except for some reason it feels less genuine and just more completely artificial. Now, I'm sure some people might actually say the same thing about Snow White with the red hair, just because, you know, our main character, you know, some people are definitely going to think, oh, she's way too good at everything she does or something like that, and there's kind of a fine line for that sort of thing, I guess. For me, she's on the, okay, this is actually a rather impressive, fun to watch individual. The interactions between people is fun. Honestly, the first thing that it brought to mind, even though they're very different kinds of shows and whatnot, is Yona of the Red Dawn, or Yona of the Dawn, whatever that one was called. You know, I just kind of felt like, oh, look, the Crimson Dragons returned as an herbalist, a kick-ass herbalist. And she's ran out a lot of bubblegum. Anyways, I've been enjoying it so far. I think I finished just the first disc. I wanted to change pace because, like I mentioned before, Hotel Transylvania had come up, I think both, it's possible both Nostalgia Critic and Angry Video Game Nerd might have mentioned it, saying that, you know, despite the fact that it's a concept that you think you can completely, you know, you think it's been overdone or something like that, it doesn't look that engaging. It's better than it looks. Now, my watching is, I think that's actually a pretty accurate statement. It was pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's exactly the sort of thing I'm looking for. Part of that is, like, somebody, I think it was a Nostalgia Critic, was talking about the fast-pacedness of it, and I feel that sometimes that can really detract from a film, and there can be a kind of fine line there, and this one is, I think, right on the edge of that line, teetering on the edge of, this is almost not good because of that, in my opinion, but it doesn't quite fall over it. It stays within reasonable, it stays on the fence, I guess, in that regard, and so it kind of means that the humor manages to work, the story kind of manages to work. Nothing about it is like super, oh, you really ought to watch this. It's just not nearly as bad as you would think it is. It's a very watchable, very fun, enjoyable. I don't know about the second one though. I kind of bought both because I'm like, yeah, two people said it. I kind of respect their opinions, give or take. They're saying we're overlooking something. I'm kind of curious enough to overlook it because I haven't actually heard any bad things about it. Actually, the only bad thing I've heard about it is actually not that bad of a thing about it. And that's the Adam Sandler voice. You know, you think of Adam Sandler movies nowadays and you don't think, oh yes, they're definitely cream of the crop or something like that. But, you know, it's kind of weird how that changed. But at the same time, I don't feel like it ruins this movie in that regard. Like, I'm trying to think how much gross out humor there was in there. And I mentioned this because you can usually tell that a series isn't really trying too hard when it's relying on poop jokes, fart jokes, or something like that a little too much. And I think this threw one in there, but I think it was only one, which kind of tells you about that thing I was talking about, the fence line. It's like, you can probably accept a little thing here and there. But in this case, they, I thought they kept it just right. They maybe, I mean, the fact that it was even in there at all, it does kind of hurt the reputation just a little bit, but it doesn't do it enough to say that it's unwatchable or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm not sure when I'm going to prioritize Hotel Transylvania 2, because I might not. There's a lot of good anime that came out this week. Let's see. Lots of stuff. There's also Doctor Strange. I thought Doctor Strange was pretty good. He's very... I'm not very familiar with the character himself. And I kind of imagined, you know, there was a kind of a lot of lore that was built up around him, and I thought the way they kind of put stuff together so you would have a Doctor Strange to actually be rather engaging, interesting, and it built up right. I felt it built up right. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Batman Begins, and I thought it was better than Batman Begins, but, you know, everybody's going to have their own preferences. So... and, of course, some people think Batman Begins is not all that much, but, you know, it's kind of got that same vibe of rich person kind of going there, although I don't think the character himself was necessarily rich. They indicated he was really good at his stuff, but that he was also very money spendy happy, sort of like someone else y'all might have seen. But, you know, it involves, okay, they end up looking for answers, Temple being trained by secret something or the other, blah blah. Doctor Strange being, of course, a bit more on the magical side than Batman, but it kind of meant that they had things to introduce that intrigued, made me curious. So as somebody who has never seen Doctor Strange or any Doctor Strange related stuff before, I found it to be very engaging. They did a good job of keeping me interested in, okay, yeah, this interaction is amusing, this doing is... I'm not sure if I care about this bad guy, but, you know, that's because they hadn't quite explained what all bad was going to happen and why, and actually, a lot of the stuff around that ended up really interesting and funny. It's definitely not perfect, but I thought it was good. Personally, maybe I liked it a little bit better than Ant-Man, and I thought Ant-Man was pretty good too. So, I don't know. Outside of that, I guess I did have a little recent distraction. Part of this was... I guess it counted as a distraction. Okay, of course there's the Super Mario Maker stuff that was a distraction, and I did get a good recording of my brother playing some of that stuff, but I'm not sure if I'm going to post it to my... or list it publicly on my YouTube channel. I do, if technically, I'm pretty sure you can look through my playlists and find it anyways, and you can see it's very lazily put together, just nice, quick, simple, nothing to publish, but Super Mario Maker, I've been wanting to make sure everything there has been rounded out, I guess. Part of the issue is, I guess what I mean by rounded out is sometimes I have ideas for things that I do want to try, and sometimes I manage to make them. And I think last week I might have mentioned something I was working on and had just finished, and because I had that one item, I kind of had it alone and not 3 other things to fill in a world, which I kind of think is an okay goal. And so I guess there was a bit of focusing on being at the parents' house, video capturing and recording some stuff here and there. And then I got a 4x4 Rubik's Cube, which I believe is called a Rubik's Revenge. Not that I've been trying to figure it out. I guess I've kind of realized for me in puzzles, I don't really like figuring them out so much as I like knowing how they work and the answer. Now, I try to give it a fair shot and spend some time on my own trying to think about it, but I get stuck rather quickly, I guess. I might get further than some people do just because, I guess, knowing how a lot of puzzles works translates into starting with some other puzzles, but at the same time, I don't think I can get a lot of credit for figuring out, for being able to solve them. Unless you kind of say, oh, well, the fact that you have memorized everything in 2 days is good. Not sure. I don't think that's necessarily good, but whatever. Something like that. So, Alright. But that's babbling. But yes, I'm at the point where I just have to remember how to solve one edge condition, and I do have a couple different potential moves that do it, but one of them is I think it's incomplete, or it doesn't or there's a typo in it or something like that, because the letter X doesn't really tell you what to do with the cube, whereas 2R, 2R2, stuff like that do tell you what to do, because it tells you you're doing 2 things to the second from the right, something or the other. Oh well, yeah, I should probably stop babbling and just say y'all have a nice week.